My name is Madeline Gent. I'm Executive Director at Associated Artists of Pittsburgh. Today we're at our 2019 New Member Exhibition, which opened this spring at Pittsburgh Center for Arts and Media. And we're talking with new member Brent Nakamoto about his work. Donald Yamamoto, am I saying that correctly?
Yeah.
Donald Yamamoto, Basava Beach, 1948. So Brent, what are we looking at?
So this is an oil painting that's based off of a photograph that belonged to my grandmother. It's actually one of a series of 3 paintings that I did for my MFA thesis exhibition a year ago. And they're all based off of these photographs that I had found in my grandmother's in a photo album after she had died. And there are a lot of pictures in the album. A lot of them are from high school. And so this one here, the story that I've put together is it's her with her friends taking a day off of school to go to the beach. This is Basava Beach is near Santa Cruz in California.
Okay.
Which is a couple hours away from San Jose, California, where she was born and lived.
So it would have been like a day trip with your friends, kind of like we use Instagram today to do that. Like, but here we have it on film. But then you've taken that and
so a lot of the reason I started going through my grandmother's pictures in the first place is, just had a lot of. Had a sort of complicated relationship with her while she was alive.
Okay.
She had a lot of stuff that she didn't like to talk about in her life, and a lot of that was due to during World War II being interned.
Oh my goodness!
As a Japanese American. At the time, she was 12 when she
wow! California, that whole internment process.
Yeah. So I originally started looking through these photographs, trying to find out. More about her, see if I could sort of connect with her through these images. And sort of what I ended up doing though was finding these images that of the people around her and her life.
Okay.
And I'm sort of assuming that she took these photographs, but I'm not actually sure. It could have been somebody else. But they were in her collection. And I was really drawn to these photographs because they're in the years after World War II. She had been gone from home for like 3 or 4 years, come back, this is her in high school, and it's her and her friends just like having what seems to be a really awesome day at the beach.
Yeah, it's a very California, it has a very California feel to it. Like we're in Pittsburgh, so we don't find this in, by the Allegheny River. But
and it's been fun too, because I've talked to people, I went to grad school in St. Louis, and I talked to people who saw the work there, and they knew right away that it was California.
Yeah, it's it has that surfer's vibe to it, and it's interesting. Just because we take that geography and put it on it. But I was wondering why the obscuring of the face?
When I started painting these, first the sort of facelessness as a motif, and the idea of erasure, effacement, sort of doing a painting and then sort of covering it back over again has been an idea that I've been interested in.
So you did paint the face and then you covered it? This
one, some of them in the series I did. This one I sort of painted parts of the face. But the face went through a lot of revisions. And so I came to think of it in a lot of different ways as I was working on it. The face sort of, as a painter, everything I do is very based on photographs, trying to be as truthful to the photograph as possible. So there's that real tension in the face because everything is...
It's incredibly photorealistic.
I'm just copying the photograph. It's a very mechanical process. And the face becomes this part where there's a sort of emotional labor involved in trying to figure out what it is and how I want it to look. And how I've sort of come to think of it as is a way of visualizing some of that trauma that I've inherited through my grandmother's story, some of the difficulty in looking at a photograph and trying to understand it, but knowing that you can't really ever understand it. When I went to these photographs, a lot of my impulse was to get to know who these people were. And I think that's a lot of what we do when we look at portrait.
Definitely.
And I wanted to sort of show that you can't ever really know who this person is. There's always going to be a mystery there, an unknown. But that's also not necessarily a bad thing. That the unknown can also become a way for you to invest in the image.
And I love how you kind of reiterate that whole photo with the cropping, especially here of the feet that I assume that's what happened in that photo.
Yeah.
Right? And so that's reinforced for the viewer. But then that addition of that white, like that border. But you've also left a chunk here, I guess chunk's not the right word, like a spacing or a gap here between the edge of the painting and the edge of the work. What was the thought behind that?
Yeah, I've been sort of playing with frames in painting for a long time, different ways of leaving a sort of empty space around the image. A lot of where that started from was actually thinking about, again, my paintings being all based on photography, that I don't want someone to take a picture and not realize, take a picture of the painting and not realize that it's a painting. Because if you take a picture of it, it sort of just looks like a photograph. So thinking about that, but also thinking about painting as object, painting as wanting to take it. We're so used to looking at images and thinking of them as, flat and sort of insubstantial. And these photographs that I'm working from are very physical. They're in a book, they're sort of starting to warp. They have all these, I also included like some of these little spots are just like age spots on the photograph.
Oh, okay.
And so this way of leaving that space around it with the canvas, it's kind of trying to make it seem like a...
it adds like a layering, like a natural layering, like that kind of, I think of, scrapbooking or photo albums, that's a better way to describe it, but that layering, that addition of that on top of the paper and that choice that happens. So Brent, you're from California originally, right?
I'm from California,
And then you said school in St. Louis. And now you're in Pittsburgh. So take us through that journey a little bit and how you ended up here in Pittsburgh.
I'm from California, the Bay Area, same area where this all happened. I went to school in Santa Barbara, which is another wonderful beach town.
I'm so jealous of you.
And I got my bachelor's degree in art there. A couple years ago, I went to grad school in St. Louis, which was, I wanted to see a different part of the country. And graduated a year ago. My partner last year at the same time got a job at Duolingo, which is based in East Liberty here. So that's why we moved here, and it was good timing for me because I had just finished school. I didn't have anything else going on, and so that's exactly what happened. Moving to Pittsburgh is I felt like I've had so much more time to spend on working on art. I have a studio in Radiant Hall. And I've been in there, at least a couple times a week working on projects.
Oh, that's great.
And I feel like it'd be so hard for me to do that.
That you can have a studio outside of your house. Or your apartment or whatever, that you don't have to cram a little corner for your practice because, rent prices or mortgages or whatever it is. So far, Pittsburgh's been good to you?
Yeah, it's been good.
Oh, good. What do you think of Associated Artists of Pittsburgh? Now, you're a brand new member, so you've only been in for a little bit, but I guess, why did you join? Let's start there.
I think a lot of the reason I went back to grad school was I spent a few years just making stuff, not really having people see it, and I really wanted to say, I'm a professional artist, I'm very serious about my work, I want people to see it, I want to be involved in a community of artists. And so I was, I looked at the, the association when I moved here, and I was like, okay, I gotta wait until spring so that I can sign up. So I was very excited. It definitely means a lot being, for the professional side, to be part of a community. To have these opportunities to show my work, to know that I, have a community to talk to, share ideas with, and opportunities to show work. But also being someone new to Pittsburgh, thinking that, I want to show people here what I can bring. But I also want to learn from the people who are from here or have lived here for a long time. To learn more about the city and
because someone might come to a show like this to see work by this artist, and then they're introduced to your work. So it's a great opportunity to, at least in my mind, to get out there and have more people see your work. Was there anything else you want to tell us about yourself or about your practice or what's happening next in your career? Any new shows coming up? Or
I do have a show coming up I've shown work at a couple places in Pittsburgh since I've been here, which is great. ROV's Coffee Shop, which is just down the street.
Oh yeah, on Penn Avenue or no.
Ellsworth.
Okay.
And Shadyside.
Ellsworth and Shadyside.
Yeah.
Okay. I was confusing the two coffee shops. Ellsworth and Shadyside. Yes.
Yeah, they show a lot of really great work all the time. And I have a show coming up next month during the First Fridays Unblurred.
Oh, nice.
In Garfield at Lake Space. So that'll be like a little solo show. Maybe one of these paintings, but mostly just new work from moving to Pittsburgh. So I'm really excited.
Oh, great. Well, thank you.